My name is David McLeod. I am your life mastery coach, and I am honored to be one of the co-authors of the best-selling book from the wellness universe uh, called. Let me show it to you here. There it is. Complete self. I'm sorry. The Wellness Universe Guide to Complete Self-Care: 25 Tools for Stress Relief. The This is just an amazing book. I put in the description there that you can find copies of it on Amazon, and hopefully grab a copy and put your own review in there because all the reviews we can get really help us. So again, my name is David McLeod. I'm going to read my chapter to you today. My chapter is entitled "Relax: From Stress to Serenity in 16 Minutes." Now you can ask why 16. I can explain that some other time. So I will start. I'll put this in two sections. First, I'm going to read my story, and then I will talk about the tool itself. So hopefully you'll be able to get that and understand what I'm saying. All right. My story. Cruise control. 65 miles per hour. 6 feet off the ground. Through the trees. Not exactly textbook car handling technique, but that's where I found myself. Moments earlier, I had been cruising homeward on Highway 280 in my sporty red Hyundai Sonata, listening to some great music from a local artist I had met downtown San Carlos a couple of days before. It was about 5 o'clock, and I was just 10 minutes away from my home, enjoying the warm afternoon sun and the minimal Sunday traffic, when I started following a gentle curve to the left. I never completed the turn. If you've ever driven a car for a prolonged distance, then you have probably had the experience of feeling yourself nodding off to sleep. On the rare occasion that it's happened to me, I've generally found myself quickly jerking awake by a jolt of adrenaline that pumps my alertness until I can stop my car and take a brief rest. Well, unfortunately, not this time. I can't say for sure if I fell asleep at the wheel or not. What I can say is that I suddenly found myself in what seemed like an alien universe. I was completely disoriented. Time had slowed to a crawl. There was a loud surround sound of scream, whack. As I looked around, I recognized that I was still inside my car, but the only thing I could see beyond the vehicle itself was flickering shades of green and brown that slapped against the windows in time with the strange noises. Squeal! Boom! What the? I struggled to make sense of my situation, and it finally dawned on me that my car had left the road, and I was now hurtling through trees and bushes at my original freeway speed. As the truth finally blossomed in my mind, a fist of fear clutched at my heart. I could feel cold steel panic erupting from my gut, and my body started to tense up in preparation for the worst. All of a sudden, the car filled with a sound of a powerful, deep voice that roared one slow word: relax. I have no idea where this sound came from, but it seemed to exist everywhere simultaneously. Since everything appeared to be happening in slow motion, I paused and considered my options. Number one, panic. Come on, dude. Stop messing around. Grab the wheel, hit those brakes, and wrestle this beast to a halt. Two, reason. This might be a good time to pay attention to, the big voice out there. And three, uncertainty. Hey, don't look at me. You out of options, boy. Better choose fast. Since external visibility had dropped to near zero, option one was out of the question. So I said out loud, okay, I don't know who you are, but you're right. Sensible thing here is to do my best to relax and just wait for this ride to end. I gasped deeply, closed my eyes, and released my hands into my lap. Okay, I said, it's all up to you now. Instantly, we were back in real time. The car was thrashing through the trees now. I felt smacks and bumps as the vehicle shifted left and right. I saw flashes of light as branches and leaves clawed at the windshield and soon gave way to open air. The side airbag exploded with a loud bang over my left ear, and then a final wham that caused me to slump down in my seat, and the car came to a stop. Without thinking, I reached over and turned off the still running engine, and then I did a quick survey. No blood or guts anywhere, no immediate pain, no apparent broken bones. The front windshield had cracked in multiple places, but had miraculously not shattered. Debris littered the inside of the car, obviously the result of driving with the sunroof open, but most of that was just leaves and branches. Neither of the doors would open. It appeared my only way out was through the sunroof. I twisted around and fumbled my way to an awkward standing position. My feet straddled the center console as I poked my head out. When I was fully upright, I looked toward the rear of the car, and I was stunned by what I saw. About 20 yards back stood two hefty oak trees, approximately 6 feet apart. Each tree trunk had a vertical white stripe where the bark had been scraped away. Holy shit, I thought. My eyes popped and my jaw dropped as I realized that these 18-inch gashes started about 5 to 6 feet above ground level. I was jolted by a sudden surge of intense emotion at the realization that I had actually flown through the trees, to be grabbed in midair by those two oaks that quite literally held me long enough to slow me down and drop me to the ground. I blinked and shook my head. If I had only been an inch to either side, the thought trailed away as I realized I would probably not be standing on this seat right now. Tears leaped out of my head. Convulsive sobs shook my body. A weird combination of fear, anger, sadness, and joy coursed through me all at the same time. As the intensity of this emotional energy diminished, it gave way to a profound sense of gratitude, the depth of which I had never experienced before. After my body settled down and I regained my composure, I grabbed my backpack and cell phone, and I hopped out onto the soft, leafy underbrush. My car had come to rest on a stretch of ground between the freeway and a parallel community roadway. Cars and bicycles moved lazily on the road, seemingly unaware that I had made this unscheduled stop. Excuse me. After I scrambled over a fence and shuffled to the service road, marveling once again that I could walk and move without pain, I stole a look back and understood immediately why no one had approached. From the road, the car was practically invisible through the bushes. I called 911 and explained the situation as best I could, and soon enough, I was joined by an EMT team who gave me a quick once-over inspection. A few minutes later, a tow truck showed up, and the messy wreckage was quickly winched out of the bushes. My poor Sonata, with less than 6,000 miles on the odometer, was clearly way beyond repair, but it still had to be taken to a registered body shop to be properly inspected and officially written off. I got the address of the garage and then made a second call to a friend who lived nearby. Bob arrived just as the remains of the vehicle were being dragged onto the truck bed. He gawked at the debris and looked at me with his mouth wide open. Shaking his head, he whispered incredulously, "You walked away from that?" He hugged me in his usual bear-like way, stepped back, looked at me sideways, and motioned to get into his van. The drive to the hospital was silent for all of 3 minutes. Then Bob could no longer contain his curiosity, and questions just poured out of him. I still hadn't fully grasped my own understanding of the crash, but I shared what I could remember. He listened in disbelief. At last, we made it to the hospital. After a short wait in the emergency room, I was thoroughly examined by a courteous, overworked doctor who assured me that I had suffered no more than superficial injuries. Reluctant lessons. This was the second time I had been involved in a serious car accident where I had been driving. So obviously, the primary takeaway from this particular crash was stay alert and drive more carefully. But as I contemplated this dramatic incident over the following days and weeks, I became aware of a few other key lessons that have definitely shaped and influenced my life since that fateful moment at 5 p.m. on August 11th, 2013. The fact that I had walked away from a potentially fatal car crash with only minor injuries was an unmistakable sign that this world was not quite done with me. At the same time, Spirit, God, the universe, supreme consciousness, whichever you prefer, was clearly trying to get my attention. Apparently, subtle messages had failed to register, so something extreme had become necessary. Threading a vehicle at 65 miles per hour between a pair of thick oak goalposts certainly filled the bill as an unforgettable wake-up call. The fact that I had nodded off behind the wheel without my typical knee-jerk response, almost as if I'd been induced into a state of temporary numbness, was just icing on the cake to make the whole event more dramatic and memorable for me. Indeed, driving in cruise control while unconscious seemed an apt metaphor for my entire life. I had been allowing life to happen to me without making any inspired decisions or sharing any of the important life lessons that I had already learned. On top of that, the fact that my low-flying vehicle was slowed to a stop by two perfectly positioned trees, something that could hardly have happened by random chance in a million years, led me to appreciate that some invisible force was truly looking after my life and providing guidance that I hadn't acknowledged before. Over the next couple of weeks, I began to experience painful tension in my jaw and between my shoulder blades. Since the doctor had already confirmed that there was nothing physically wrong with me, it seemed likely that I was suffering the equivalent of intense post-traumatic stress. While I found some relief from ibuprofen and acetaminophen, I kept remembering that powerful, deep, booming voice, the one that had commanded me to relax during my flight through the trees. It reminded me of a yoga retreat I had attended in 2006. One of the teachers had used that same command in a very clever and structured way to encourage deep relaxation during the final portion of his class. While I was already a pretty dedicated yoga practitioner by this time, I hadn't been doing the relaxation practice the way I had learned at that retreat. Given my current level of tension and pain, now seemed like a perfect time to revive that practice. So that's the story. So now let me share with you the tool and how I brought this tool into being as a result of what happened in that event. So the tool, the relax process, overview of stress. In very simple terms, stress is a reaction to perceived pressure from some external situation or event. The reaction can be purely physical, like when your body is traumatized in some way, such as during a car accident. This form of stress may need to be healed through medical procedures or physical therapy, depending on the severity of the trauma. But for less serious forms of physical injury, simple relaxation techniques may prove effective. The more insidious and potentially more dangerous form of stress, however, is generally of a mental or emotional nature. Common causes of this kind of stress include things like the loss of a job, the end of a marriage, illness or death of a family member, or serious financial problems. When stress becomes chronic or overly intense, it can do actual damage to you, both mentally and physically. Prolonged stress can result in increased blood pressure, headaches, sleep challenges, digestive issues, reduced sex drive, not to mention moodiness, anxiety, and even depression. Often, emotional and mental stress is accompanied by significant muscular tension that manifests in a particular part of your body. In my case, this happens to be my jaw and between my shoulder blades. But it can be anywhere. As I've continued to study human psychology, particularly in the area of psychic shadow, what I've learned is that unconscious fear plays a big part in the stress reaction. This makes perfect sense if you think about it. When an external event happens, we can dispassionately see it as just another event, if we choose. But often, the event has a direct impact on our lives, and this can lead us into unconscious self-talk about the potential negative effects of that event, which causes our level of fear to rise. This, in turn, elevates our level of stress and all the effects that it can create. Most of the stress that people tend to experience is of this latter type. The best way I've found to reduce stress in my life is by maximizing awareness of the unconscious fear that might be driving it. And to do that, I focus first on the physical tension itself. By reducing the tension, I find it easier to recognize the hidden fear I've been trying to avoid. When I see the fear itself, it almost always turns out to be an irrational fear with little or no basis in reality. A little laughter, acceptance, gratitude help me to dissolve that fear quickly. And voila, immediate stress relief. Process preparation. If you have done any yoga, I'm sure you have been exposed to what must surely be the universal favorite pose, Shavasana. It is a simple pose that is widely used in yoga because of its inherent ability to induce maximum relaxation. Find a quiet place where you will not be disturbed for about 20 minutes and place a yoga mat on the center of the floor. Lie down on the mat flat on your back with your legs shoulder width apart and your arms at about a 30-degree angle from your body. Keep your hands arranged, palms facing upward, and allow your feet to flop outward to the sides. Position your head to keep your neck as straight as possible relative to your spine and allow your body to sink into the floor beneath you. Allow your eyes to close gently and begin to breathe slowly and deeply. With each slow inhale, imagine you are saying the words, I am. And then as you slowly exhale, imagine you are saying the words, relaxed. Inhale, I am. Exhale, relaxed. Repeat this for at least 10 to 12 repetitions, and with each cycle, feel yourself getting deeper and deeper into relaxation while remaining fully aware and awake. Part 1, re-tense and release. You are now going to completely relax as many muscles as possible in your body. Start at your feet and work progressively toward your head. The idea is to bring maximum tension to a single muscle group and then to release it fully. While doing this, try to stay relaxed everywhere else in your body. Start with your toes. Tighten the toes in both feet and simultaneously take a very slow, deep breath in as if you were sucking all that tension into your lungs. Then simultaneously release the toes and expel all the air from your lungs and say the word release. Repeat this 3 times. Move up to your calves. Tighten the calves in both legs while keeping the rest of your body totally relaxed and simultaneously inhale all the tension into your lungs. Then simultaneously release the calf muscles and expel all the air from your lungs and say the word release. Repeat this 3 times. All right, so I think you're getting the idea here. You start with your toes, you move up, and for each part of your body, you repeat. So you continue in this manner for every major muscle group in your body: quads, hamstrings, buttocks, lower back, stomach, chest, hands, biceps, triceps, shoulders, neck, jaw, and mouth. Perform extra re-tense and release cycles for any area of your body that seems to need more attention. You have to trust your own body for that. When you're done, consciously release your body into the floor and take several more deep breaths until your breathing softens back to norm. Part 2. This is the fun part. Laugh, accept, express. Laugh. While still in the prone position, allow yourself to laugh out loud for at least 1 minute. Let the laughter start out in whatever way it will, but soon enough, you will begin to feel the energy and it will become genuine and full-bodied. Continue as long as you can, even longer than a minute if you can do it. And then let the laughter fade away. Calm your breath and regain your relaxed state. Gently lift yourself into a comfortable sitting position with your hands in your lap and your eyes gently closed. Accept. Recognize that in this beautiful moment, everything about your life is perfect. Whatever fear may be present, simply accept it and allow it to pass through you. No matter what might be happening in your life, remember that you have handled everything in the universe, you have handled everything the universe has delivered so far. You have been 100% successful. So be willing to accept what is and know that you will make your way through this too. Express. Release any remaining fear from your body and express total gratitude for every aspect of your life, recognizing that everything has come to you at your own invitation. Welcome it as a gift that is here to empower you to express and experience the fullness of who you really are in every moment. Final words. Remember that you are the master of every aspect of your life, and you are always at choice. When things seem too big to carry, you can let stress. When things seem too big to carry, you can let stress overwhelm you, or you can relax. Choose the latter for improved health and happiness. Oh, yes. And remember to smile as you wrap yourself in a juicy, delicious hug of self-love. So there you have it. You have my story. You have the tool. Hi, Isabella. Thank you for joining. Good to see you. That's all I have for today, my friends. I hope that that inspires you, and I hope that you'll take the time to follow some of the links in my description there. Maybe connect with me on the Wellness Universe on my profile, or follow me through one of my social media sites, whatever you prefer. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you get a copy of the book because it really is a pretty amazing book. I just want to show you one more time. This is a copy of it here. The Wellness Universe Guide to Complete Self-Care, 25 Tools for Stress Relief. And you may not be able to see it, but my name is right in there. It's mixed in with all those amazing other beautiful authors who have contributed so much to make this a smashing success. And I also want to honor Anna Pereira, the founder of the Wellness Universe, and also Laura DeFranco, who was the editor and publisher of this book, for the amazing work that they do or they did on this job, and they continue to do by bringing such beautiful messages into the world. So I hope to connect with you again. Yeah. Oh yeah, Anna just points out, and I will sign the book at Soul Tree. That's true. Everybody who any of the authors who show up at Soul Tree will be available to sign copies of this book. So if you grab yourself a ticket to Soul Tree, and that's going to be another amazing event coming up in October, then you will have the opportunity to meet all the authors and to get a copy of the book signed and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just honored to be part of this. I'm sorry that I messed up the first version of my live. I don't know what happened. I killed the browser and I had to restart from scratch, and I was panicking at the last minute. Sometimes that happens. That's life, you know? All right, friends, thank you so much for listening, and I wish you all the very best. And I know as we're coming into Christmas, I really want to wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. So love, light, and blessings to everyone. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.